Hey ladies and gents, this is Izdo coming to you with a review of the Mythic Legion's Gonxx action figure. Gonxx, Gonxx. He's a goblin with a onomatopoeia type of name. Onomatopoeia is like when a word referring to something sounds like something it does. And I'm imagining that Gonxx is the sound that he makes when this goblin hits you with its big war hammer in the head. He gonxes you. Great name. Here's the bio. Gonxx. The true scope of the goblin army can only be imagined by those with the greatest imagination. With the greatest imagination. A seemingly infinite number of evil soldiers seep through mile after mile of labyrinthine tunnels in the Gobhollow Caverns deep beneath the Grayvein Mountains. Gonxx, the brutal and hulking commander of the goblin forces, not only wields the power and skill to lead, but he also possesses a prodigious ability to strategically categorize and command his legions. Now aligned with the Legion of Arethyr, Gonxx and his army bring an indestructible and horrific force to the fight for Mythoss. So, he's a commander, and he's armored up, and we can't see what his real face looks like. All we can see is these yellow gleaming eyes, and of course his goblin ears. But it's all under this sort of Mad Maxian looking helmet. And his armor is really, really tarnished. So for a commander, he doesn't seem to be worried about putting up appearances as far as looking spiffy. He's very no nonsense and very matter of fact. Now, this is a cool little comparison here. These both are goblins, but one, Snag the thief, is on the smaller, thinner body with the Mythic Legion's Advent of Decay torso. And just look how small, and not small, but he's only a tiny bit shorter, but he's not the same kind of hulking brute that Gonxx is. His arms and legs are longer and more spindly, and he's a great goblin character, but yet it just sort of shows you the variety that the Four Horsemen are able to make, even when you're of the same goblin race. And so this guy is obviously built low to the ground, low center of gravity, sort of like Boreer over there. And these pauldrons give him sort of a massive profile because it makes him look like he has gigantic shoulders. And he comes with this huge battle hammer which we've seen before, and everything is sort of rusted, corroded, grimy. There's like this orange oxidation just all over, and it's rubbed into every crack and crevice of the armor. It's on the chain mail. They did a really good job weathering this and making it look like it's part of a real lived-in world. And they grimied up the sword, the long sword that he comes with, a little bit, but it's in 3 different places, which is sort of odd. I think this might be a candidate for maybe a little red crusty blood on it, because parts of it are too shiny to be associated with a guy like this who doesn't seem to care if his armor is rusty or unkempt. But he's a goblin, so the other thing I do notice is that he's got this awesome mace with a gold chain, and the gold chain does seem a bit shiny for him, but still looks very, very cool. I love the mace, and I guess that's what causes the Gonxx sound that he takes his name from. It would either be the battle hammer or the mace. So yeah, Gonxx is a cool addition, and if you can see, he's kind of hunched over a little bit, and I'll show you how they accomplished that. First of all, his head is big, right? It's bigger than Snag's head, and rounder and fatter, but at the same time, he's got this unique neck peg, which makes him hunches his head over, and allows, and so he's got this unique head peg, which allows his head to sort of jut forward on the ball and give him that sort of hunched over look. This is the first time I've seen this particular neck peg used like this, but that was a good idea to do that. We've seen other things to make the basic buck body, like this would be the basic dwarf body, look different. We've you know, there's like the furry neck piece, which has been used to sort of add some bulk to the shoulder area, and then there's this forward hunched over type neck, and then just the regular neck. So he also comes with the 3 adapters that are ubiquitous to all of the figures in this wave. So here's a comparison of him to Warrior, so we can see how these figures are similar but constructed differently. See, Warrior's paint apps are more elaborate, and it just makes it look like a whole different figure when you have, well, the folds are different, and you have the hooves on there. See, and Warrior is also another one of these figures who has a neck, who has a different neck peg in there. You see. See, this is a different neck peg. It doesn't sort of jut forward the same way as the neck peg does on Gonxx. So, but it juts forward a little bit, and I think this may be specially made for the head. It still allows the swivel on there, and it has all the mobility of the ball joint, and it, you know, and it sort of gives him a little bit of a natural hunched over look, but it's not quite to the level that Gonxx is. So it's, you know, it's interesting the different effects that can be achieved with just the use of a different neck peg, a piece that you don't really look at. Now, what I would like to see is some adapters or neck pegs. Oops, I got to do it once every review. Adapters or neck pegs that allow us to use the Advent of Decay heads and put them on the Mythic Legion 1 bodies. You can do that now with Gonxx, right? If you remove the neck peg and if you remove the neck peg and you take the neck and the head and you place it on the Mythic Legions 1 body, but you can't do it with Snag because the ball on the Mythic Legions 2 heads is too, the ball is different from the Mythic Legions 1. And I can't, I have tried to get this neck piece off and I don't think I can. I don't want to break it. Wait. It does come off. Okay, I've been telling people that it was stuck on because there was some glue in there. I've been thinking that this neck piece doesn't come off, but it's just been stuck, and I hadn't been able to muster up enough strength to get it off. But let's see. Now, well, it still doesn't work because the peg on this neck is too small for the Mythic Legions 1 body. So if somebody could make an adapter so that, say, Snag's head could fit on a Mythic Legions 1 body, that would be cool. Because see, oops, some of these heads would look cool on some of those bodies, but we don't have a neck piece that's compatible. So maybe somebody, the Four Horsemen, or these folks that cast and make these necks and adapters so that you can put Masters of the Universe Classics heads on Mythic Legions bodies and stuff could do it. That would be cool. All right. Sorry about the long rambling review. I'm still a little bit under the weather, but Gonxx is a very cool addition to the ranks of the goblins. Obviously, you need a leader, and so that's who he is, the leader of the goblin hordes. All right, is the Wiz signing out.